Hey there, I'm Dimitri LeBel. I'm a guitar player, but today I thought I'd give you a lesson about how to play basic dobro and get by in any pop or country pop song. I want to point out first that I'm not a specialist in the instrument. I can play in tune and be tasty enough. But if you want to go get through some advanced stuff, maybe I'm not your guy. But today is going to be, I think, something very useful for a lot of guitar players that are looking to expand their vocabulary or their tools. And by the way, I have here a dobro, which is a more or less entry level. I think it's a good instrument, but you could get much better. But you can get great tones out of it. But you could also play dobro style guitar with any regular guitar. All you need is a thing like that. I don't know where I got it because it's been a long time, but I guess Stumac would be a nice place to look. And so same goes for my bars and the capo that I'll show you later on. Actually, it's right there. You could use that to play dobro or electric guitar in more of a lap steel fashion. The thing about dobro and the way I play it or approach it, which kind of differs from a sort of traditional way, is that most people will play in the open G tuning, which is like G, B, D, G, B, D. All the greats, Jerry Douglas and such, will play in that tuning quite a bit. And it's amazing the stuff they can play with it. But my approach was more from players like Kelly Joe Phelps or Harry Manx. And so these guys, they mostly play in open D tuning or open E, which is the same. It's basically if you had an acoustic and we're playing the E chord on it. So that's the tuning you get. The open E tuning actually is E, B, E, G sharp, B, and E again. So you have three E's. So what I do is I this is like my basic position, the open position from which you got to learn a few scales. But then if the key were in F, well, that's not an issue. I would use the capo, which is a bared capo. I highly recommend. I have the newer version, but it's somewhere in the truck right now. So this is the one I kept home. But let me just give you an example of using that. You slide it in, lock it in. There, I'm in G now. So I can play the same basic stuff. So the bulk of what I want to show you today is how to play chords and work around chords on the instrument, because that's pretty much, it's almost all you have to know. For sure there's scales if you want to go into the lead stuff, which I suggest you start with the basic stuff. Pentatonics, major and minor, that's a lot already. And it comes in very handy. And also, first and foremost, the thing you have to work on is the pitch. So any note you're going to play on the instrument has to be in tune, So for that, there's no secret. You just got to work on your stuff slowly, playing some chords, making sure it sounds great. And the vibrato there's quite a few ways to do it. But I've learned that, doing sort of a swivel movement like that is how it works the best, for a slower vibrato. Of course, the left-right motion is useful as well, but it's not always what you need. Depends on the intensity needed. Oftentimes also, I think you would hit a note and you wouldn't play a vibrato right away. You let the note live, then add in some vibrato. The thing that sounds the best on the dobro, but also acoustic guitar anyhow, is using open strings. So when it comes down to playing chords, you're gonna want to figure out the open positions. Like, how can I use as many open strings as possible while playing the chord? So if we have a song in E, let's go basic. My E major. First, you're gonna need the E chord, which we have right there. You might want to play the third. You see, I'm just playing two notes. Fifth here and the third. You get a tone right there. You know, that's enough to make it work. You know. Then, so you have your chord right there. That's easy. Then most likely the next chord would be the 4 chord, the A chord in this instance. So you could play it like that. That would make sense. But if you were to try to include some open strings and see what you get, that could work, you know. So I know I can have my basic like 1 5 1 third. My chord is all there. What do I have if I use the open second string? That's the 9th of the chord, then the 5th again. That sounds pretty beautiful. It's very useful. You know, there's going to be other instruments involved in the arrangement, so you don't always need to play every note of the chord. Maybe just 1, 2, 3 notes might be enough. So if I'm playing the 4 chord of any key, you know, I could either play it this way or just use like 2 notes of the chord. For example, this is 3rd and the 5th, or maybe reaching the A note plus its 5th. So that's for the 4 chord. Next, there's most likely going to be a 5 chord. If I'm doing the same thing as I did before, that I get the like a add 4 chord. So my 3rd is here, but also the 4th plus the octave. That sounds beautiful. You could also just play the whole fret. But then again, if you want to stay in an open position, you have the 5th is available here. It's right there. So that's my B note, and it's here again. So I have 2 notes of the 5 chord. So there must be a way I can find other notes that will make it fit, you know, sound great without playing the whole chord, you know. So what do I have? I know there's the 3rd that's up here. I use that quite a bit. So say where I'm gonna play 1 4 5. So see, I played the 5 chord. This note here is the 7th, so 5 7, you know, B7. We hear that quite a bit. It's just there's gonna be no other note, like the 3rd is not being heard, but it still works, you know. Or I could play just B5, like having no thirds in there, like from here or up there. You got to be careful that you don't want the other notes to resonate. Let me try just a few examples. If I have like a 1 4 5 chord structure. That works, you know. So we covered 1 4 5. That's a good start. But what if you need other chords? What's if it's like a advanced pop song and there's like a minor 6 or minor 2nd? You can still do the same. So the minor 6th in that case is the C sharp minor. So it's right up here, the note, the C sharp. But then the other degrees of the same chord are available in the open strings. You can play that chord just like that. Either these lower notes or the same triad, but in the upper register. So I do that all the time. So now we have like 1, 4, 5, 6. That could be enough for now, but let's see. Six. So that's pretty much the basic way I like to use the instrument, and gets me through a lot of different songs. Like I said, if it were to be in say in A, honestly, if it's gonna be in A, I will change my tuning in that, but that's no other story. But if you want to make it quick, I can play the same thing I just did, you know. So that works. And let's say now, say there were some other chords, like the second, like in E, the F sharp minor, say. So you cannot actually play the minor chord. You can, but it wouldn't be like a full chord. I could play like the minor third here, and it's fifth. So you could just simply play a line. That could work. Or with the open strings again. That's how I would go about, you know, putting in that minor second chord. I would probably just play this, just a line, you know, that it makes it clear that you're playing a minor chord, but it's just not gonna happen all at once, you know. Then the 3 minor as well, you could use the open strings with that. That's cool. Oftentimes, if you're in E and the G sharp is involved, it's most likely going to be like E over G sharp. So you could play the open string and just have the G sharp up down there, you know. Back to the 4 chord, 5 minor 6. Now, what else? 7 is not exactly something you would play in a pop music context, but then you have the flat 7, which is used quite a bit in the modern country stuff, like this classic chord structure we hear all the time, like 1 major, flat 7, 4. So I just played the chords as is, like playing all the frets, and that works well, but you don't have to play all the notes of the chord, like I said before. So I could be playing my flat 7 chord with just the roots. And what's that? That's the 9th. That could work, you know. Then I reach the 4 chord again. For that type of harmony, you would need to work with the minor pentatonic scale on the instrument. So, you know, I'm doing this like off the cuff. I don't really know where I'm headed, but it was just for fun, and I thought it could be useful for lots of players, actually. It can get you through a gig, you know, or a session. So yeah, that was my quick lesson about how to play dobro. If you liked it and want to see more, maybe let me know, because I don't post much stuff. I'm busy, working as a musician, but it's a lot of fun, and I do learn a lot from YouTube and stuff like that. So why not share, myself as well? So if you have any requests and all, I'll see what I can do. Thank you.